Hello everyone, welcome to Level Change channel. My name is Claudio Fonseca and today we are going to fly from São Paulo, Congonhas airport to Rio de Janeiro, Santos Dumont. Rio Santos Dumont is the shortest runway that the 737-800 operates in a regular basis. So I'm going to show you a couple of things about our flight plan just to start. So I'm going to use here the sim brief panel. So we have a summary of our flight. Is the Go 1986 is a 737-800. Our origin is Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa, which is São Paulo Congonhas. The altitude is, the elevation of the airport is 2,631 feet, and our destination is Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet, which is Rio de Janeiro Santos Dumont Airport, elevation of 10 feet. Then we have our alternate is Confins 2,721 feet elevation, and we are expecting to cruise today at flight level 310. Our cost index is 6, which is the current cost index for Go Airlines, and our airtime is expected to be 42 minutes. This is our route, basically one airway Upper Zulu 171. For payload, we have block fuel of 5,214 kilos. Extra fuel is 0. So our final reserve plus alternate is 2,945 kilos. Our zero fuel weight today 54,615 kilos. Estimating takeoff weight of 59,602 kilograms. This means a payload of 12,351 kilograms. There is no cargo, only passenger and baggage, and we have 144 passengers with 144 baggages. The weather, we have some weather here to fill our FMC. I will show you later on, but the important is that São Paulo Congonhas is now with winds 220 degrees at 3 knots, variable between 180 and 300. So we are going to use most probably runway 17 right for departure. The visibility is good, more than 10 kilometers, scatter at 1000, broken 1300, 22 degrees 1020. Rio, it's even better, 350 at 6, cavalcade 25 degrees, QNH 1013, and our alternate Confins 090 at 3, cavalcade 20 degrees 1019. What is important for us is the forecast for Rio. So right now we have 010 at 5, more than 10, scatter 2, lowest temperature 24 at 9 Zulu, the highest 30 at 17 Zulu, and it's becoming on the 30 at 10 up to 12. It's going to be cavalcade. We already have it, so we already have cavalcade. And at 15, this is only later on, change in wind and some tower moves around. Let's see for our alternate. Our alternate is the same thing, is cavalcade for now, and it's becoming at 8 Zulu, so in 1 hour from now to scattered clouds, and that's it. It's really good for our flight. This is the raw information that we have, and I'm going to use this raw information especially to get the winds for the descent, but I will show you all of this in a couple of seconds. So let's assume that we just start our flight. So the pilots, they are arriving at the airplane at this moment, and before them the maintenance was around, and the maintenance did the electrical power up, turning on the APU. So at this stage we go inside the cockpit, okay, and I'm going to show you the overhead panel with our APU running, and we also have our air conditioning working. So the pilots, they arrive to the airplane, they will check the technical log, so the maintenance status of this airplane. As we don't have a technical log here, I'm going to use the Pmdg setup, aircraft and figures to check that that is no active failures, so the airplane is good for our flight. Our next step is going to be checking the engine oil quantity for the number 1 94 and the number 2 95, which is really good. And then on the system here we can also check the hydraulic quantity 100% for system A and system B. The last step, we go all the way up here to check the crew oxygen. Anything above 1000 is more than enough. If it's below than 1000, we need to check our manuals to see if we comply with the oxygen requirements. So when everything is checked, the airplane is ready to start. The FO will turn on the IRS, moving it to nav position through align. So what we want to see is on the C initially and then the align mode. Then down here is going to arm the emergency exit lights, and it's going to perform the fire test. So to overheat the TET, we have master caution overheat the TET, which is fine. And now to fire, all the indications they are correct, including wheel well, that is very good. And the squib for the fire extinguisher, they are good on the position 1 and they are good on position 2. They are good when all the lights they illuminate in green here. Okay, so now the next step is to the FO to take the ATIS. As we don't have an ATC online right now, we are going to use our Ivao resources to get the latest weather. Just to be sure, we have the same weather as we have in the Microsoft Flight Simulator, so WXSBSP. And now we have Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa. Now is the 7 Zulu, 200 at 4, so this means runway 17, variable between 160 and 230, more than 10 kilometers, clouds scattered at 700 feet, overcast at 2000 feet, QNH 10, temperature 21 and QNH 1020. So what we do with this information, the main thing that we have to do is to come here and set 1020, as this is the QNH for São Paulo Congonhas. Temperature is 21 degrees. The airplane is sensing right now 22, which is perfectly fine. So we already know what to do. And now the FO on the first flight of the day will do the rest of the preparation. I'm going to do it really quick here, and this include testing the Mach airspeed warning for number 1 and for number 2, also the stall warning. Okay, this is fine. We are going to do a final check later on when he comes back from the exterior inspection. And to go to the exterior inspection, we are going to turn the logo light on and the position lights, and the captain is going to set the parking brake. So the captain sets the parking brake, the FO goes out to do the exterior inspection, and now the captain is going to calculate the maximum takeoff weight for today. That's why I'm going to show you this is our takeoff analysis for a 737-800 short field performance from São Paulo Congonhas Airport. This is Sierra Bravo Sierra Papa, runway 17 right, and we try initially with flaps 5. We have the engines up to 27 pounds of thrust, so the thrust rating for this takeoff is 27,000. Anti-ice is off, elevation 2631. we are using dry condition, thrust reduction 800 feet, and acceleration altitude is the same, 800 feet AGL, which means an altitude of 3,431. As we have 21 degrees right now, 21 degrees, I go down here on the blitz on, and 22 degrees, as we don't have 21, we have to go to 21 degrees. We'll have on the zero wind component column, we have a maximum takeoff weight of 64,800 kilograms. And as this is a bump limit for the 27, we do not use assumed temperature, so our speeds for takeoff will be V1 130, VR 135, and V2 144. As this is above our current takeoff weight, our estimated takeoff weight, we are happy with these numbers. We don't need to use blitz off, or we don't even need to look for another flap setting, so we can use flaps 5, 22 degrees maximum full thrust with speeds 130, 135, and 144. Okay, so this is complete. The next step is for the captain then to fill the FMC. So it's a 737-800, engine rating is 26K. Remember, we need to change then later on the N1 limit to use the takeoff bump 27, because that was the only information I have. I only have the tables for 27,000 pounds of thrust departing from São Paulo Congonhas. The navigation data is active from 23rd of March to 20th of April. We are going to depart from Sierra Bravo, Sierra Papa, and I'm going to align our inertia with the GPS coordinate. So I just copy the coordinate and I put on set IRS position. Then our route, Sierra Bravo, Sierra Papa to Sierra Bravo, Romeo, Juliet. Now I'm going to use the SimBrief panel again. So we are going to use the information that we have here, Golf Lima Oscar 1986. And the next page, our route is Zulu 171, Upper Zulu 171. Okay, because we need to enter first Nibru, which is our 2 point. So for now, direct Nibru, Upper Zulu 171, and 171. Yes, now it's correct. And we go to Hevun. Hevun with N. We can activate and execute. So next step is performance. Our cost index is 6. Our reserves, we go here in payload, final reserve plus alternate 2945, so that means 3 tons. And the zero fuel weight, I'm going to set the zero fuel weight to the airplane right now and then fill the FMC. So we need a zero fuel weight of 54.615. This is our zero fuel weight. And we need 5,300 kilos of fuel. So that is set as well. Okay, so I come back here and we have to use a zero fuel weight of 54.7. 54.7. On the FMC we always round it up to the nearest 100 kilos. So we have a takeoff weight of around 60 tons. Our level is 310 expected. And the cruise wind, we come here from weather. Top of climb wind, TOC wind, is 273/21. The temperature, TOC temperature, top of climb temperature -36, so -36, and this is the temperature. And transition altitude here in São Paulo is 8,000 feet. We can execute that. For the N1 limit, we are going to hard select 22 degrees, and we are going to select the 27K as bump limit. The next step we are going to do after we complete the loading But for now, acceleration output is 800 feet, thrust reduction 800 feet, and engine out acceleration is also 800 feet AGL. Departure and arrival. So we're expecting 17 right, Bayan 1 Alpha, Nibru transition. So we can come to the legs, check that everything is there, makes sense, we can execute. And the arrival is right now for runway 02 right. So Asalu 1 Alpha to 02 right, Kevon transition, and we have some options for RNAV Alpha Bravo Lima, the pure RNAV, and the Whiskey X-ray also 02 Romeo. So to sort it out, I'm going to go to the Navigraph, and here on the Navigraph I'm going to unload this route and import from SimBrief. This is the last plan from SimBrief, that is today. Okay, so Bayan 1 Alpha. This is our departure. This is Bayan 1 Alpha. We pretty much depart 3400. We fly Sierra Papa 102 and then Bayan, then Nibru, and this is the airway to Kevon. Then in our arrival, Asalo 1 Alpha, I'm also going to open this chart. We have a couple of restrictions here. We have Kevon 313 and then 307 between 11 and 9000. Then 021, then 308 at flight level 80, then Asalo 7000, Jelut 6000, and then from Jelut we are going to select our approach. Our approach is to runway 02 right. It says here that from Asala 1 Alpha to runway 02 right with transition in Jelut, we have two options. The first one is the RNAV Lima, and the other one is RNAV Whiskey. I want to show you this one because the RNAV Whiskey, it is an RNP AR approach, and it requires, it's written here, that we need an RNP of 0.1, and for now, as I'm speaking to you, this is what day is today again, just to be sure. Today is the 30th of March 2023, and the Pmdg is not capable of performing this approach. So our option is only RNAV Lima, runway 02. So let's open this chart. So RNAV Lima, runway 02. What we have is from Jelut all the way to Romeo Juliet 048. In case of missed approach, we continue straight ahead. But for the rest of the approach after 048, which we are supposed to be there around our minimums of 1200, even below that, as you can see here, if you are going on a 3-degree glide path, we even cross below that in visual conditions, and then we follow these RNAV with the prescribed visual track. And the prescribed visual track is this one. Yes, this is the prescribed visual track. So from Romeo Juliet 048, we are going to fly heading or course 175 towards Botafogo Beach, and then left turns inside the Sugarloaf Hill, crossing Viúva Hill on the left side as well to intercept the final 020 towards runway 02 right. Okay, so this is a visual maneuver. We break up to the right towards Botafogo Beach, and then we make a left turns over Botafogo Beach, keeping the Sugarloaf to the right, Viúva Hill to the left to intercept visually the final to runway 02 right. Okay, so this is what we are expecting today. I'm going to keep this on the departure for now, and I need to select then the RNP Lima to runway 0 to right. So let's go back to the sim, and on the sim, so RNAV Lima 0 to right with JLUT transition. Again, legs page, we make sure everything is there. Looks like it's all correct, and including our missed approach, and we can execute this modification. So the last step, it says enable cruise altitude. We'll check that in a couple of minutes, because it says on the performance that recommended is 210. I think we can make it at 310. That's a really common level for 737 on this route from Go. The last step on the descent page, I'm going to go to forecast here, and I'm going to change our transition level in Rio, which is 075, and here in the raw information I'm going to use the descent information that we have here. I just want to, yes, so here we have the descent information. As we are flying 310, I'm not going to use 310, I'm going to use the next level, 200, 150, and 100. I can even try my ACARS if it's working, so I'm going to make a descent wind request to see if it works. If it doesn't work, we are going to add these numbers: 287 at 15, 287 at 11, and 269 at 7. So we just made the wind request. Forecast uplink is ready. And we can load these then. It still says enable cruise altitude, and data link config is invalid. So as we don't have valid information for these levels, we are going to use from the flight plan 287 at 15, 287 at 11, and 269 at 7. So this concludes our pre-flight preparation for now. So at this point, usually the FO is back from the steer inspection, and he's going to check the FMC. Of course, I'm not going to check everything again, and after this he's going to do all the preparation here in the overhead panel. This is the pre-flight procedure. And when the captain is ready later on with the pre-flight procedure, we are going to do the pre-flight checklist. So level we are expecting is 310 today, and altitude 0 for Rio. First flight of the day, we go to the right, ignition. Usually at this point the captain already turn on his flight director, so I'm going to turn the first officer flight director as well, and we are going to set traffic, airport, lowest scale. We need some lights, and this is too bright. Usually I keep it in the middle. It's fine for me in the middle, like this, even this one. Okay, so oxygen, yes, all set. Light test 1 and 2, auto brake, oops, RTO, auto brake disarm, illuminated and then off. And then the last step here, we have Congonhas 116.9 for our departure. 116.9er for departure, that's fine. And transponder should be on standby. And the last step, our departure is on the 169 heading, pretty much radial from São Paulo, Congonhas. 169 is set. The same thing the captain does on the other side. Let's start with some light, and then during the night all of this in the middle is good enough. Whoops. Yes, good enough. Auto throttle armed. I'm sorry, the initial heading should be 169. And the initial altitude, I'm sorry, should be 310. Auto throttle flight director here as well. We go to traffic, airport, lowest scale, oxygen. Tested, and we keep in 100%. Auto throttle arm, flight director, all indications they are correct. Test 1 and test 2. Speed brake, trim, throttle, flap, stabilizer, trim, cutout switches and fuel control switches, they are all in the correct position. Parking brake is set. And we are ready for the pre-flight checklist. So I'm going to use this to add the checklist here, so we can go together with the checklist. Pmdg offer us the pre-flight checklist. So oxygen is tested 100%. Navigation, transfer and display switches, they are normal and auto. Oh, here, stick item, yep. So navigation, transfer and display switches, they are normal and auto. Window heat, they are on. Pressurization mode selector, auto. Flight instruments, heading 259, altimeter 1020. Parking brake is set. Engine start levers cut off. Pre-flight checklist complete. The next one we are going to do is the before start checklist later on. Okay, so we are pretty much ready. We should at this point request for ATC clearance, as we don't have an ATC online. Oops, I'm going to come here and request for prepare for pushback and departure as we finish our calculations. As we did the calculations before, I forgot to select course 169 here as well as a reference for our initial course. Okay, so we go to the MCP or FMC. We need some light here and some lights here. So the next step, while we remove the wheel chocks and we close our door, yeah, the doors, they are closed, ready to move, we are going to fill the information for the takeoff. So 22 degrees with 27k, and we have flaps 5 for departure. CG is 20, and our speeds, just go back on this live stream if you didn't find these numbers that I'm going to enter now, because I already show you that the V1 is 130, VR 135 and V2 144. So we have 130, 135 and 144. At this stage 144 here in the smack on the speed. LNAV, VNAV to armed. We check on the FMC. So we are going to push back nose right, tail left. And when we are ready, we release the parking brake. I'm not going to release the parking brake right now, because I still need to do our final preparation. When we close the door, the FO take on the fuel pumps, the electrical hydraulic pumps, seat belts to on, anti-collision light, and that's it. Now we are ready to go. So our checklist. So the before start checklist. Flight deck door is closed and locked. Fuel. Flight deck door closed and locked. Fuel, we have 5,300 kilograms. Pumps on. Passenger signs, they are on. Windows locked. MCP V2 144, heading 169, altitude flight level 310. Takeoff speeds V1 130, VR 135, V2 144. CDU pre-flight is complete. Rudder and aileron trim is free and 0. Taxi and takeoff briefing is complete. Anti-collision light on. V4 start checklist complete. Now at this time, release the parking brake. São Paulo traffic, this is Go 1986, we are starting pushback and engine start from position 10, expecting runway 17 right for departure. So here we go, we are going to start, so PEX off, engine start switch number 2 to ground. As you can see, we start our pushback, there is no one around. And now we are going to check 25% for N2, and we can release the fuel. 10 seconds, we need to have fuel flow and EGT rising, which is okay. Now the startup should complete smoothly. Live for live, he says, good morning Fonseca, have a safe flight, we are here following up, air bridge is show. Later on says what the PMDG does not follow RNPAR, please. Yes, of course, fly for live, please let me know if you understand English, if English is fine for you, if not, I talk to you in Portuguese. Okay, so the airplane just stopped, so we set the parking brake and we start the left one to ground. I'm going to give you that answer in just a minute as soon as we start both engines. Just to expedite the process, I'm going to tell GSX that both engines, they were started because they take some time to release all the equipment. So, talking about the RNPAR, the problem is that the PMDG cannot follow what we call RF legs, radio to fixed legs, which are pretty much DME arcs created by the FMC. So, on the PMDG here, you will see if you select, let me try to show this to you. So, let's go to plan, and I'm going to make the selection of the other procedure that we have there. RNAV whiskey GLUT transition, and I'm going to execute. When I go here to the legs page, you are going to see here that it is created Romeo Juliet 802, then 803, and then here we have RF006 and RF007. If we go to the Navigraph charts for this approach, okay, and we take the 02 right whiskey, you will see that we don't have any point between 803 and 804. Okay, this is just an RF leg. As you can see here, it says between, actually it goes all the way from 802 to 803 and then to 804. You can see that from 802 to 803 we have a right turn arc, and from 803 to 804 we have a left turn arc, which is this one. So as the airplane is not capable of doing this arc, what Navigraph did, it creates 2 points here, and then the airplane, instead of following a constant turn, is going to fly direct to one point and then direct to other point and then direct to another point, as I'm going to show you again. So as you can see, this is not a perfect turn. This is from 803 direct to 806 and then direct to sorry, direct to 006 and then direct to 007 and then direct to 804. So it's not a perfect turn, it's not an arc, so this is not capable. So the PMDG is not capable of perform this kind of lateral maneuver, so that's why it's not capable of doing an RNP AR here in Rio. Okay, so I hope you understand. If you didn't understand, let me know. I can try to explain you in a different way as we fly. The only thing I'm going to do here again is that I'm going to go back to my previous arrival and approach. Jalut Asalo 1 Alpha through Jalut. Let me just make sure everything is there. Yes, everything is there. Index takeoff. I'm clear this. So we finished the start. Captain asks the FO for the flaps for departure, which is flaps 5, and then the FO comes here to take the generators on bus. Next step, PAX, isolation valve auto, APU bleed off, APU to off, engine start switch continuous. Next step would be a recall and removing the engine parameters. The captain just finished the checks and also sets the trim, if not set before, to 5.15, which is okay. And now we are ready to start our taxi. So dome light to off and taxi light to on. And here we go. São Paulo traffic, go 1986 to start taxiing to runway 17 right. So parking brake released. Here we go. Yeah, this is not a problem. This is a limitation on the system, and they say they are working on it for a long time now, so they can start complying with these arcs as well. And I understood that they are supposed to fix all this problem by the end of this year. Maybe on the next revisions and the next updates to the 737. It will come, of course, as they say, as free for all the versions. And then you are not going to see those extra points on the procedures that you have those kind of arcs. Okay, so they say that they are going to fix it soon, as the Phoenix the Phoenix 320, it is able to do all those kind of procedures. So I think now they have something that will push them to finish this development. They are trying this for a couple of years now. They pretty much stopped it to try it on the Prepared 3D, but I think they will bring it to the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now the checklist, the before, oh, I forgot the before taxi checklist. So generators, they were on, probe heat on, anti-ice is off, isolation valve auto, engine start switch continuous, recall is checked, auto brake RTO, engine start levers idle detent, flight controls check, and ground equipment clear. The next will be the before takeoff checklist, which says flaps, they are 5 with green light, and stabilizer trim 5.15 units. Before takeoff checklist is complete. We are going to enter the runway now. São Paulo traffic, go 1986, runway 17 right, lining up for departure. Here we go. At this time I was supposed to turn on all the lights, as I don't have an FO just to myself. I'm going to do in a minute. As soon as I finish this alignment here. I'm still with not a good alignment on the 737. The lack of the steering. but this is fine. 169. So when we were entering the runway, the FO was supposed to turn on the runway turn off and taxi light and strobo lights, and including the transponder to TARA. And when we are clear for takeoff, that we are going to do it now, landing lights to on. But 1986 start takeoff runway 17 right, São Paulo Congonhas towards Rio. So 40% N1. Stable. Takeoff. N1 Toga. Control column a little bit forward. Maintain the alignment with the pedals. Checked. Now control column to the neutral position.
E1. Rotate.
And rotate on the 800. Smooth 2 to 3 degrees per second. Gear up. LNAV. Follow your flight director. This is an excess of thrust with this configuration. VNAV speed is there. And we can turn on the autopilot. N1 command, left turn towards 102. Flaps 5, sorry, flaps 1. We departed with flaps 5, so we retract flaps to 1. And when the flap is above 1 and accelerating above up position, we can retract flaps to up. When we have then the flaps reaching up and the leading flap transit light extinguished, we have flap up no lights. So the FO comes here, in this case pilot monitoring, check packs, leads, engine start switch back to auto or off, landing gear to the off position, auto brake to off, and then after takeoff checklist. So after takeoff checklist says blades they are on, packs auto, landing gear up and off, flap up no light. After takeoff checklist complete. And now we continue our climb. 8,000 feet is the transition altitude. So as we approach transition altitude now, I switch my QNH from my altimeter setting from 1020 to standard, and cross check all the altimeters. So this is departure from São Paulo. I hope we can get some sunrise by the time we reach here. Let's see. Cannot promise anything. Vinicius P. Hello Fonseca. Finally, I'm going to follow one live broadcast of yours. Wow, he's watching it from China. He's sending some greetings from China. Thank you, Vinicius. So if you are in China, I'm pretty sure you can understand English, right? So, but if you have any doubt, and if you want me to talk to you in Portuguese as well, just let me know. I can talk to the Brazilian followers that do not understand English in Portuguese. No issue. So we crossed 10,000 feet. 10,000 feet. We have no turbulence expected. So fasten belt, switch to auto, and we can turn off lights, landing lights, turn off taxi and logo light. And here we go. Always follow your heading bug to match the actual heading when you are following a LNAV. And let's see what's our top of climb and top of descent. So I'm going to change this to the plan. Legs, and I go step by step here to see. You see the top of climb and top of descent is not even showing. So it should be in 46 miles, and we should descend in 49. So I'm going to expedite this climb. I'm going to set maximum rate and execute. The speed will drop to 255. Still enable cruise altitude. Let's see again. So we are leveling off in 43 miles and we are descending in 46. Still not enough. N1 limit, we have the full climb thrust by now. So maybe we should take a little bit lower. So I'm going to request to the ATC 290. In this case there's no ATC, so I change 290. I change here 290 as well, and the third step is to change in the pressurization panel to 290. So we are climbing 290 now, and it should be like reaching top of climb and starting our descent. We're reaching 33 miles and we start our descent in 48 miles, which is something good now. Well, now we can see top of climb and top of descent. We have pretty much everything set for our approach, so I do not worry much about the descent as we continue this climb. But I'm going to check the weather for Rio. So I take .wx SBRJ, and we have 360 at 4, cavalcade 25 degrees, 1013. So still the same, runway 02 with QNH 1013. So we are going to pre-select here QNH 1013. One thing that I'm going to show you with our Navigraph charts again. So the approach that we are doing is the RNP Lima, and the RNP Lima has a MDA of 1,200 feet. Okay, 1,200 feet, and that's pretty much what we need. Final approach course should be 020. Okay, so 2000 and 020 as final approach course. I'm going to select this information here just as a reference. 020 on the course. And 1,200 on the minimas. For the minimas itself, what I actually do, I add every time is MDA 50 feet, so I will set 1,250. This is standard for most of airlines in the world because MDA is minimum descent altitude. We cannot go below 1,200 if we don't have visual reference, but I want to know 50 feet before, so that's how much altitude I need to stop my descent in case I don't see at the late stage of this approach, I don't see the reference that I need to complete this approach. I'm going to select auto brake maximum here for now, and we have 4.2 tons. We are landing with 3.5, which means 700 kilos we're going to burn, so we land with 58.2 kilos, which give us flaps 40 132. To make sure we have the correct performance, okay, I'm going to show you now some information that I have from Go for landings in Rio. Okay, so we have these airplanes, a Boeing 737-800 short field performance with 27K. This is the engine rating. We are landing with dry runway and our critical temperature is 40 degrees, so we have 25. We are below the critical temperature. We can use this table. So we have Sierra Bravo Romeo Juliet to land on runway 02 right or 20 left. We have a landing distance available of 1,323 meters. The flap must be 40 and our landing weight is 58.2. If we were landing with 53.2 or less, we could have a tailwind of up to 5 knots. When the weight is 55.1 or less, we could have a tailwind of 3. But as we have 58.2, we need to use the limit of 58.4, which give us 0 limit for tailwind. So we can land with calm wind or headwind and no tailwind. And for this condition, or better, all of them, the auto brake needs to be in the maximum configuration. Okay, so that's why I've set here auto brake maximum and flaps 40 for this approach. We are almost reaching 290 and we are pretty much ready to start our descent. Okay, Vinicius says, if I can ask you a question, sometimes appear, as far as I know, the message from FMC, enable cruise altitude. Can have some reason considering your data was inserted correctly. Is there any way to know why it shows? Actually, Vinicius, this was showing because if I climb to 310, there will be no time to reach 310 and then start our descent. As you can see, we change, it happened today from 310 and we change it to 29. So now we reach 29, and as you can see, we are only 13 miles for top of descent from 29. If we were going to climb 310, we will need more time to reach 310, and we will have to start our descent even before. So there will be no time to level off at 310. That's why I choose to change to 290. Why this happened? Because maybe the temperatures, they are higher than the standard atmosphere, and the sim brief calculated with standard atmosphere, so we don't have that much performance to perform our flight. Other reason will be a shortcut, or other reasons could be that the plane is not behaving as it's supposed to be. Different winds, as we have a tailwind and increased tailwind, it's going to push us towards Rio as well. And I just remember that I have to finish the preparation, so ISA deviation is 13 and QNH 1013, so 13 in cruise, and in Rio is 10. So I'm going to use ISA deviation of 12/1013 for this information. I'm going to execute, and this is top of descent. So initial altitude, initial lower altitude for us is flight level 90, as we can follow here on the legs page. As you can see, we have to cross Romeo Juliet 307 between flight level 90 and 110. So I'm going to start the descent now. Recall, and I think we're pretty much set to perform our descent checklist. So descent checklist says pressurization, landing altitude is 0 feet, recall checked, auto brake maximum, landing data VREF 30. Sorry, we have 40, 132, minimums battle 1250, and approach briefing is completed. I already explained to you how we are going to do. So we start our descent now towards Rio. Okay, Vinicius, I hope you understood. The enable cruise altitude is because you cannot reach the cruise level before your top of descent. So in this case it happened today, and we changed from 31 to 290. I'm going to use Navigraph again to see if we have any I don't need this chart. We have NDB Payol 415. Okay, so I will set 415 as in our ADF, and VOR, the closest one that we have is Caxias 12.3. So I'm going back to my sim, and I go here to set 4 15 in our ADF as our NDB. We only have one NDB, and 122.3 is Caxias VOR, which is the closest one that we have, just to have some sort of information. So here, instead of VOR, I go to ADF, and on the left side I go to ADF as well. And as you can see, later on there will be the radial 020 from Caxias. It's not aligned with the runway, but at least I know that this is the course for my approach, 020. As we start our descent as well, we can change this to from 2 clicks on the center position to show the vertical situation display. We can turn on the terrain, and for this approach we should not have any ground proximity alert, but I am already warning you, the ground proximity alerts for the Pmdg, especially related to this kind of approach in Rio, it's a little bit sensitive, so I'm expecting to have some sort of EGPWS information. If you don't want to have this kind of information on your flight, you can come here in the ground proximity and take this terrain inhibit to inhibit. You are going to see terrain inhibit here, and you will not have any EGWS warning. Okay, I don't mind. Okay, I know in real life if we have one of those we have to go around, especially at night as we are here, but we are going to be visually flying towards the runway. I'm expecting to have, let me show you one more time, I'm expecting to have some sort of GPWS on this turn here, when I'm turned towards 175, because of this hill here, 813 feet elevation, or even this one, 1171, and even the Sugarloaf on the left turn towards the final. Okay, so this should be more precise for this kind of approach. What I mean more precise is that the EGPWS is a little bit sensitive on the Microsoft Flight Simulator, but it's a good resource for any approach where you don't have those kind of mountains around. But in Rio, not much we can do. One external from our plane, I can guarantee it's in the middle of the screen. Of course, it's at night, it's very dark, but we can already see the lights of Rio coming up ahead of us. Vinicius says, got it. If we were already airborne and this comes out, is there a place in the FMC where we can check the maximum able cruise altitude? Yes, there is. I changed to 290, and I changed to the first level below, and then I noticed that the top of climb and top of descent, they were showing on my navigation display. But you can go to the initial reference index and performance, and here in the trip it should give you the best option. In this case it says 224. Before departure was 210, so 210 maybe, but 210 I think it's a little bit low. So you can fill all your route including departure and arrival, and then come here to check not the cruise altitude that you selected but the trip. Okay, and select something below this trip. As I can tell you, on the Pmdg they are not replicating this quite well, so it's giving you some lower levels. It should give us, for me today at least, a 290, but it was giving me 224 at this stage. Okay, so we should use this column here, the trip column, but Pmdg is giving this information a little bit low. Anyway, even if it's low, it's something you can use, and then I guarantee to you, you will not have the problem with this unable cruise altitude. That's it, guys. I'm going to coordinate with Rio traffic. Rio Santos Dumont traffic, this is go 1986. We are descending 190 towards Gelut to perform RNP Lima runway 02 right. Now it says drag require. I don't really care about higher speed right now. It's not a big deal, so I just going to clear this message. Oh, and by the way, let me show you again my Navigraph charts. Okay, so we are going to fly this procedure with the autopilot until the point we are close by Romeo Juliet 048. If we have no visual reference, we are going to climb to 3000, maintain course 132 until Romeo Juliet 049. After, we maintain the course 131, which is 1 degree to the left, until Romeo Juliet 051. And then once we cross 051, we climb to 5000. We continue on this course to hold at Evrir. Evrir is from 051 continuing here, and then we hold at Evrir 5500. In case we see the runway around this point, I'm going to disengage auto throttle, autopilot, and I'm going to reset my flight directors, which means I'm going to turn the flight directors off and then on again. Why? Because the flight directors will give me guidance to perform and continue on the LNAV towards all the way to Evrir. This is a visual maneuver that I'm going to fly without any guidance from the flight director. Okay, so that's why the flight directors will be turned off, and then I'm going to turn them on again, so in case I need to go around, I will have reference and information and guidance to go around. Okay, so this is why I'm going to do both procedures. I'm going to turn the flight directors off and on again. I'm going to use my joystick to do it. I have some buttons assigned to these settings because I'm going to be flying manually, but I will let you know when I do those sort of things. Vinicius says, yeah, it's quite rare the trip value to be higher than cruise altitude from SimBrief. Yeah, but that's the point, and in real life, that trip will take all the information that you entered, including the altitude constraints that you have on the departure and arrival, and will give you the best trip for the shortest, let's say for the shortest duration of your cruise. Okay, especially for short flights. Of course, if you fly a longer flight, then the trip will show you what is the best level that you can reach initially based on your weight, because then you're going to spend a long time in cruise, so it's just showing based on your weight, which will also give you information for the maximum and optimum on the cruise page. As I don't have this information anymore, I cannot show you, but it's there. So that's it. We are continuing our descent. We were supposed to be descending with 245 knots. We have 258 to let's say 260 now, so we have 15 knots extra speed. This is because we have some tailwind here, but I think it's adjusting slowly, and it's not going to be a problem, especially because we have some altitude restrictions on this approach, which includes 080 at 308, 7000 Asalut, 6000 Gelut. This will give us some margin to play with the speed, don't worry. So we are reaching a point where we can turn the seat belts on. Come here on Pmdg cabin crew, prepare for landing. And around 10,000 feet, which we are going to get it soon, we can extend the landing lights, runway turn off, taxi, and logo light. Here is the sunrise, so maybe we'll see something around Rio. Let's see. Beautiful sunrise today. Let's see how it goes. Okay, we are about to cross 307 between flight level 090 and 110. The next will be 080 by 308. So 308 is just before Asalo. As you can see there, 308 now. It's quite okay, so it's aiming to cross 307 just at 11,000. You see 307, 11,000. Now it's enough to reduce the speed, and we have the next altitude as 80. So altitude 80 is set. As you can see, it was enough to reduce the speed now. The airplane is even add some thrust to maintain now this path. As you can see now, some thrust to maintain this path, this descent path. So here we go. I tried to do this flight 3 times last week, but I had crashed the desktop, so I just revert back to my previous video driver, so I'm not having any kind of problem as of today. So this is 10,000 feet, and we continue on this approach. Heading to match. Again, sunrise over Rio. As you can see here, there is a road that we are going to fly above it pretty much all the time. Then we go on top of those mountains and we turn right towards Santos Dumont Airport. We are going to have the Santa Cruz Air Base on our left in 18 miles, and then the Afonso's Air Base in around 35 miles. Let's think about our fuel for today. So we are arriving with 3.6 and our reserve is 3.0, so we have 600 kilos to spare, which is roughly, let me take it from here, 600 kilos. If we come here in the raw information, 1 ton is 30 minutes, so 600, let's consider 15 minutes, half of it, so we have 15 minutes of holding. As you can see, this is a very shallow descent. The problem for us was that 11,000 at Romeo Juliet 307. Now 8,000 at 308 is not a big deal, and then we have another 4.5 miles to descend 1,000, and then another 7 miles to descend another 1,000, and to start reducing our speed. So I think Gelu 240 knots is a little bit high, so I'm going to change this. I'm going to change Gelu to 210 knots. I'm going to execute. FMC speed, VNAV path. So now we cross Gelu around 210 knots, which is just above our flap up speed. So we are reaching 8,000. Next step would be 7,000. Vinicius says he was trying to do one leg from Berlin to Linate in 2023. Ivao World Tour last week. Took me 3 times to finish. One sim crash and one emergency. I couldn't finish. Yeah, man. Yeah, I had 3 crashes to desktop the same reason in different positions, so I realized it was not something related to the simulator itself, it was related to my video drive, so I revert back to the previous version, which was working fine, and it's working fine again. I don't want to say I'm 100% sure about it, because we still have a couple of minutes to go. We are expecting to land at 34, now it's 25, so maybe another 15 minutes of live stream, but so far so good. So 8,000, now 7,000 Asalo. We are about to reach 7,000. Next step is 6,000 Gelut. So the airplane is aiming to cross Asalo at 7,240 knots. And then it's going to start reducing to cross Gelut with 210 knots. Oh, yeah, we need to set our altimeter 1013. Set and cross-checked, and we can do our approach checklist. Approach checklist, altimeters 1013, set and cross-checked, so approach checklist is complete. Again, we go all the way to Romeo Juliet 048, and then we make a right turn towards the Botafogo beach, and then left turn towards runway 02 right. So we are about to reach 6,000, and in Gelut we start the approach, as we have some closed spaced altitudes here, and we are in VNAV. I'm going to select our minimums of 1,200. As we add 50 feet, we cannot go down to 1,200 here. 1,300 is fine. Real traffic, go 1986, starting RNP Lima from Gelut, runway 02 right, crossing 6,000, or better, passing 6,000, because crossing is the Portuguese word for passing in English. Okay. 6,000 Gelut, 210 knots, 220, 19, which is good enough. So as I just start the procedure, I'm going to extend flaps to 1. As you can see, the FMC already reduced the speed to flap 1 speed. So the thrust levers will remain in idle to maintain or to reduce to that speed. Once it reaches that speed, it will increase the thrust as needed to maintain the path. If idle is not enough to maintain the path and we are still accelerating, we are going to get messages like drag required. I'm not worried about drag required now, because it's reducing slowly, but it's reducing enough, so I'm happy with that. I'm going to clear this message. Okay, this is Rio. Here is Galeão Airport, runway 1028, runway 1533 here. This is the main terminal, and there we have Rio Santos Dumont Airport. Maybe from the FO side it's better. So here we go, flaps 5. Again, drag required. This is not as the real plane. The real plane, when the speed is reducing, even though it's reducing slowly, we don't get the drag required message unless it's really, really slow. Let's see some outside cameras. Approaching Rio now. This is the camera view from passenger perspective. On the other side, I think this one is going to be good for us. We're crossing 4,000 now. We have Rio Airport in front of us. This is Santos Dumont Airport. This is the Sugar Loft. So we are going to go above these hills here towards Botafogo Beach on the right side, and then left turn towards the final. I'm going to start working on this approach. As I'm alone in the cockpit, I'm going to already select the heading 020. We should be matching this heading all the way to the final, but I need this information later on. Going to keep 2.5 miles here, and now we need gear down, flaps 15. Speed brake is armed. Engine start switch to continuous. Once again, we are approaching Rio Galeão on the left side, Santos Dumont in front of us.
2500.
Towards 048. Now we extend flaps 25 just to reduce the speed a little bit more. Beautiful, beautiful sunrise in Rio. Now flaps 40 to complete this approach. And we have all the visual reference that we need. So what I'm going to do right now is to disengage auto throttle. We're approaching 048, and I forgot the missed approach, which is 5,500. Okay, right now, manual flight. And we also reset the flight directors.
Caution, terrain.
Yeah, this is the caution terrain that usually we don't have it.
Minimums.
And we go towards Botafogo Beach. You need some thrust.
1000.
171 is the heading that we were supposed to fly.
Terrain, terrain, terrain.
This one,
Up. Terrain, terrain. Pull up.
which is fine.
Terrain.
As you can see, there is terrain ahead of us. This is the Botafogo Beach below us.
Caution, terrain.
We're going to start the turn to the final
Caution, terrain.
over the beach to keep
Caution, terrain. Caution,
us inside this bay.
terrain, terrain. Pull up. Pull up.
Little bit of
Terrain,
trim up
terrain. Pull
just to
up.
help during the turn. And that's it. We'll be turning towards the final. Now we adjust our descent to match Papi. We have 3 reds. Very soon we are supposed to have 2 and 2. And 2, and now we need to continue down. Slightly to the left,
100.
but it's okay for now. So 2 and 2 all the way.
30, 20, 10.
And here we land on the touchdown zone. Full reverse, speed brake up, reverse as normal. $60 knots, idle reverse, manual brakes, and we take the next to the left. Here we are, reaching taxi speed, so we stow the reverses, and we are going to slow down to 10 knots to vacate the runway here to the left. 12 knots, 10 knots, and we can vacate left here. I have a phone call. I'm going to answer this phone call. Guys, I'm not going to finish this procedure right now. Well, I just need some time as I taxi to the gate. Sorry guys, I had to answer a phone call here, not a big issue. We taxi now towards the main apron. At this time the after landing flow should be complete by the pilot monitor, in this case the FO. So I'm going to do it now. So that means flaps up, APU start, landing lights off, turbo lights off, engine start switch to auto. We don't need the terrain anymore. We don't need the VST anymore. Auto brake to off, and transponder to transponder. Here we are. I'm going to go to one of these positions here. Let's see, gate, maybe gate 3 is enough. Okay, so we are going to gate 3. We check the third gate. Gate 1 is the one further down. Here is the gate 8. So basically you go to gate 3. That's it. So here we have this turn to the left. Gate 6 if I'm not wrong. No, gate 8. This is gate 7. Yeah, 6. Yeah, we can see they are waiting for us there on number 3. So APU to on, lights off. Let me just confirm which one. Oh, is this the gate 3? Oh, it's about to come. Yeah, okay. Because I had to turn the lights off and it was not enough to see. So here we are. Gate 3 is approaching. We have the marshaller inside. And we can start turning towards our gate 3. Four knots, 6 knots, it's too much. Around 3 knots, it's okay to approach this. So yeah, 3 knots now, it's fine. Telling us to continue straight, a little bit to the right. We reduce now to 2 knots. Telling us to continue ahead. 1 knot now. Continuing straight ahead. About to stop and a little bit more. And here we go, here we are. So next step, parking brake set. We make sure the APU is running and it's connected to the bus. We can shut down both engines, then FO comes here. Fuel pumps that we don't need to off. We can even set the dome light to 1 to help us a little bit. Fasten belts to off. Hydraulic pumps, electrical hydraulic pumps off. APU bleed on. Isolation valve open. Anti-collision light off. Bidirectors both to off. And the last step is transponder to standby. Then we can do the shutdown checklist. I didn't do the landing checklist. I'm just going to read for you, but I finished during the procedure. As I was alone, I put the engine start switch to continuous, the speed brake were armed, the landing gear were down with 3 green and the flaps 40 green light. Then we need now just to complete the shutdown checklist. So fuel pumps, they are off, 1 pump on, probe heat off, hydraulic panel is set, flaps up, parking brake is set for now, engine start levers cut off, weather radar off, shutdown checklist is complete. Now we are going to ask here for FS actions service to set the wheel chocks, and we are going to request jetway. So as we go outside, they set the shocks. Yes. And we are going to request jetway. Actually, I can use GSX to operate jetways. I don't know why the jetways, they are not moving here in Rio. I have, I think, static scenery. So in this case, we also have the option to change the entry to stairs and request a stair on the front door. That's it, guys. Let me see if you say something. Vinicius says, I'm going to take 2 787 Dreamliners to SBGR at the end of April through Qatar Airways. Is it good, the emergency exit seat? I like the seats in the emergency exits. They have more space for your legs for sure. But to São Paulo is the 777 that I'm currently flying. So okay, from Doha to São Paulo you will have a 777. Which city do you live in China? Because maybe it's a 777 also from your place in China to Doha. But I do recommend the emergency exit seats. If you had to choose, especially for the second leg, which is the longest one, you'll be tired already. So if you have to pay something, pay for the second trip. Okay. Yeah, guys. So that's it. That's what I had for you today. Actually, we can finish the secure procedure. Let's assume that all passengers they left. So we can take the AD rules or IRS to off. We are going to keep the APU on for the maintenance guys. Window heat to off. And that's it. Pretty much that's what we need. PAX is 25 degrees and the maintenance guys, they will be around, so I will leave the PAX to them. Otherwise, if there's no maintenance, we would have to turn them off. So we can do the secure checklist, which is the IRS off. Oh, I forgot. That's why we use the checklist to take the emergency exit lights to off. So I tick this item. Window heat, they are off. And PAX, as I mentioned, they should be off, but as maintenance guys will be around and it's 25 degrees, so we need to keep them cool. So PAX is complete. So as you can see, we finish all the checklist, and this information here, when you come to the checklist, the Pmdg give us some procedures as well. Okay, we don't have to, well, we follow these procedures by memory, and then we only do the checklist to check for the important items. Okay, but it even give you the engine start and for example the after landing procedure and shutdown procedure, the secure procedure and the power down procedure if you want to do it. Let's assume that you want to do the power down procedure. How can you make this? So you come here, power down procedure. It says APU or ground power switch. You take them off. So APU, that's what we have, to off. And then it says, so we tick the first item. Then it says if APU was operational, wait 2 minutes. So now we are going to wait 2 minutes. We assume that the 2 minutes they are gone. Okay, and let's say the 2 minutes are gone, and then it says battery to off. If you don't know where is one of these information here, you can always click on the eye icon. Okay, and it was supposed to show you that the battery is here. Yeah, actually it's showing is just because the guard was there. So as you can see, this is the battery, and then battery to off, and that's it. Power down procedure is complete. Okay, so that's it. Another tip for you that are using the Pmdg. Guys, thank you so much for being here again. So he's in Guangzhou. Yeah, we fly the 777 to Guangzhou. No, Hangzhou, right? Yeah. So it should be the 777, both flights. Okay. Thank you guys, and see you another time. Bye bye.